Hello everyone, today we are going to presentation about some material, globalization, liberalization, and digitalization of trade, presented by Group 9. And are you curious guys? Let's get started. Okay guys, let me introduce my group. The first one is Fahruna Syafendi, myself, and then my partner is Lavina Idelia and Istihori Al-Ghifari. Okay, the first topic is trade liberalization and protection. The second one is factors of labor, production, human capital, and technology. The third is movement of factors of production between two countries. And the last is economic globalization, free markets, and trading blocks.
The first one is trade liberalization. Trade liberalization is the removal or reduction of restriction or barriers on the free exchange of goods between nations. These barriers include tariff such as duties and surcharges, and non-tariff barriers such as licensing rules and quotas. Economists often view the easing or eradication of these restrictions as steps to promote free trade. Next, advantage. Trade liberalization promotes free trade, which allows countries to trade goods without regulatory barriers or their associated costs. This reduces regulations, decrease costs for countries that trade with other nations, and may ultimately result in lower consumer price because imports are subject to lower fees and competition is likely to increase. Increased competition from abroad as a result of trade liberalization creates an incentive for greater efficiency and cheaper production by domestic firms. This competition might also spur a country to shift research to industries in which it may have a competitive advantage. For example, trade liberalization has encouraged the United Kingdom to concentrate on its service sector rather than manufacturing. Next, disadvantage. Trade liberalization can negatively affect certain business within a nation because of greater competition from foreign producers and may result in less local support for these industries. Trade liberalization can pose a threat to developing a nation or economies because they are forced to compete in the same market as stronger economies or nations. This challenge can still establish local industry or result in the failure of newly developed industries there.
Okay guys, and this is the example of trade liberalization, which is NAFTA or North American Free Trade Agreement. Okay guys, the next is development stage.
The first mercantilism era, 16th until 17th century, where economic activity must be focused on obtaining resource or wealth as much as possible to support political and military power. It was this mercantilism that motivated European countries to expand into Asia and Africa to obtain greater research in their exports. Mercantilism has produced mass economic and political progress for European countries and nation-states under kings. The second golden era, end of Napoleonic Wars in 1815 until beginning of World War I in 1914. This period is a period for world trade running with liberal ideas, where each country can adjust its trade activities in areas where there is a comparative advantage. The last is fragmentation and disintegration in Europe, 1941 until 1945. Free market and free trade began to face various distortions as a result of the implementation of policies that keep from liberalism. Distortive policies that steer the economy toward activities that override market mechanism. The next matter is protectionism. Protectionism refers to government policies that restrict international trade to help domestic industries. Protectionist policies are usually implemented with the goal to improve economic activity within a domestic economy, but can also be implemented for safety or quality concerns. Next, method of protectionism. The first, tariffs. Import tariffs are one of the top tools a government uses when seeking to enact protectionist policies. There are three main import tariff concepts that can be theories for protective measures. In general, all forms of import tariffs are changed to the importing country and documented a government customs import tariff raise the price of imports for a country. The second, import quota. Import quotas are non-tariff barriers that are put in place to limit the number of products that can be imported over a set period of time. The purpose of quotas is to limit the supply of specific product provided by an exporter to an importer. The last, subsidies. Basically, to boost a country balance of trade, a country might also choose to offer subsidies to business for exports. Export subsidies provide an incentive for domestic business to expand globally by increasing their export internationally.
Okay guys, the next is production. Production is the process of combining inputs and turning them into outputs. According to the author, work productivity is the attitude and behavior of the workforce in the company towards the regulation and standard that have been determined by the company that have been manifested both in the form on behavior and action in the organization or company. And according to the Salvatore, there are several indicators in labor productivity, including the following. The first one is having the ability to carry out tasks, strive to improve the result achieved, and then the last is the attitude of the work spirit is better than. Previous day labor and capital. According to Hesibuan, labor is one of the main production factors in companies, as actor in the production process until goods and services are produced. According to Braham and Joel, capital is found used to be production process only, and the amount of working capital and elements working capital can be increased or decreased according to the needs of the company. Okay, the next is human resource or HR. Is a potential that owned by everyone to realize something as social being. And then the technology is knowledge of the use of tools and how these tools affect the ability to control and adapt to their natural environment. The next is why the human resources are very important. It is because the labor human provide the physical and mental effort necessary to produce goods and service. The next is innovation and creativity, and the third is productive workforce, which is healthy, motivated, and productive human resource, which is support sustainable economic growth. And then the technology. Why the technology is very important, guys? It is because the first one in increase efficiency. The use of advanced technologies such as automation, robotics, and sophisticated computer system allows the production of goods and services to be more efficient. And the second one is product innovation. Technology enables innovation in product design and development. This allows companies to create goods and services that are better, more sophisticated, or with additional featuring that better than meet consumer needs. Okay guys, the next is movement of production factors between countries. They are, the first one is the difference in natural resource. As country has different natural resources, so the result of natural processing that are enjoyed are also different. The second one is the difference of production factors. Apart from natural production factors, a country has different in the capability of its workforce, the amount of capital it has, and the skills of an entrepreneur. Therefore, the products produced by a country also experience differences. Soon the third is needed. Okay, the third is the different economic condition. We know that is in every country we have the different economic condition, right? And so that the country intends to import goods from abroad because the costs are considered cheaper. And the next is not all countries can produce their own goods because of the limited capacity of a country. And the last is the existence of a profit motive in trading. So, migration between countries is influenced by economic and non-economic factors. The first one is economic factors. Calculation in income help to obtain a higher income cost to move, whether a person, family, or their belongings, of course, requires cost and time. It is, of course. And however, if according to a calculation the benefit obtained are greater than the cost, migration will occur. The effect of migration is brain drain, human capital flight. That human capital cannot be separated from the people who move, the country that the life will lose and the one that comes will gain. And the last is capital. Maybe the capital is part of country economic growth and it is so related. Because foreign capital is very necessary when the country cannot yet make money. Next.
Economic globalization defined as the rapid proliferation of cross-border production, trade, and investment activities spearheaded by global corporations and international financial institutions that facilitate the emergence of an increasingly integrated and interdependent global economy. Free trade is the practice of international trade in which there are no significant barriers or restrictions to the import or export of goods and services between countries. Trade blocs are agreements between countries to reduce or eliminate trade barriers. Relationship between economic globalization, free trade, and trading blocs are interrelated and mutually supportive. Economic globalization creates greater demand for free trade, and free trade can promote economic globalization. Trade blocs can help achieve free trade, and free trade can strengthen trade blocs. For example of relationship between economic globalization, free trade, and trading blocs. First, the World Trade Organization. WTO is an international organization that promotes free trade. WTO has played an important role in promoting economic globalization. Second, the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, is a form of implementation of real solutions to address security and economic development in the Persian Gulf region, as well as a firm fulfillment of public aspirations for the establishment of an Arab regional union in the Persian Gulf.
Okay, the next is the example. You can form a joint agreement to trade, for example, ASEAN, AFTA, EEC, APEC, WTO, and the export and import activities in the country, which is this example you can see. The next is influence of economic globalization, free trade, and trading blocs. And this is the positive effects of economic globalization, free trade, and trade blocs. Include are economic growth, production efficiency, and improved living standards. And then we have negative effect of economic globalization, free trade, and trade blocs include they are inequality, and then layoffs, and the last is environmental impacts. And maybe in the last is we have the example of globalization and liberalization that you can see.
Globalisasi ekonomi adalah mendunianya kegiatan dan keterkaitan perekonomian sehingga batas-batas antar negara tidak lagi dikenal. Misalnya, Amerika memproduksi barang A dengan total biaya produksi sebesar 200. Namun, bila Amerika memproduksi barang A di Indonesia dengan biaya tenaga kerja yang lebih murah, menjadikan total biaya produksi hanya sebesar 150. Sehingga Amerika akan lebih memilih memproduksi barang tersebut di Indonesia. Contoh lain dari globalisasi adalah masuknya perusahaan asing ke dalam negeri seperti KFC, McDonald, jual beli online seperti Amazon, eBay, OLX, serta terciptanya pasar bebas seperti AEC. Secara umum, terdapat dua kebijakan yang mengatur globalisasi ekonomi, kebijakan mendukung dan kebijakan menghambat. Kebijakan mendukung adalah kebijakan yang menghilangkan penghambatan perdagangan untuk membuat perdagangan internasional lebih mudah antar negara. Dan kebijakan menghambat adalah kebijakan yang melindungi perekonomian suatu negara dari kompetisi negara lain dengan menciptakan hambatan perdagangan. Kebijakan mendukung dapat diterapkan berupa subsidi, pembiayaan ekspor, zona perdagangan asing, dan agensi khusus pemerintahan. Kebijakan menghambat berupa tarif dan non-tarif, embargo, pemenuhan kebutuhan lokal, penundaan administrasi, dan kontrol mata uang.
Okay, that's all from our group presentation, and the next is question time. You may have the floor, and thank you so much. Cheerio!